Chancellor Brown.
Thank you, Phil, and it's a real honor for me to be here today to help celebrate the beginning of another school year at this great institution. I want to add my thanks to all of you for setting aside this time to come be with us to hear about, I think, one of the most important topics in our society today. In addition to all of the faculty, staff, and community VIPs here today, we have a number of our students. We're delighted that you were able to come and be with us today. And it's a pleasure for me to recognize Chancellor Emeritus Bill Stacy. Thank you for being here, sir. Let me start off by saying what I think all of you already know.
We are a healthy campus, alive with students and activity. We've reached our census date for the fall 2010 semester, and we have an official total of 10,781 students, which represents about a 2.5% increase over last year, and this will mark several years of record enrollment. And while we're growing in number, we continue to grow in academic profile, with both our average ACT scores and high school grade point average increasing again for this year's freshman class. As you know, we're once again housing a few of our students downtown because of the demand for our on-campus housing. The number of students at the Choo-Choo is now under 40, thank goodness, and we hope to have all of them back on this campus very soon. Many of you and many other people across the community have asked, will we be building other residence halls? And I think the answer is yes. Because of the way housing is funded in the state of Tennessee, Dr. Stacy testified to this, you almost have to live several years of overflow to ensure that your demand is truly there and to be able to persuade the state. We will be renovating some on-campus space this year in Skagmire Hall to allow more housing, but I would expect us to be looking forward to breaking ground for new student housing construction within the next 2 to 3 years. If you're interested in comparative rankings, and we certainly are in higher education, you'll be happy to hear that once again, UTC is ranked in the top tier of regional universities in the South, enjoying a top 20 placement by the U.S. News and World Report among public universities in the South. And so, it's easy to see that our campus is doing very well today. But how did we get to this place in time? And what about tomorrow? What lessons can we learn from our campus forefathers to ensure a strong future? And what steps should we take today to guarantee the campus we pass on is even stronger and more sustainable for generations of faculty and students? As Provost Golden stated, today is also Founders Day. It's significant to our campus's history because it marks the first time this campus opened its doors to students 124 years ago. By the way, stay tuned for exciting announcements about next year's 125th anniversary celebration. And here we are, still serving students and serving this community. So someone figured out something about sustainability. Truth be known, sustainability isn't a new concept. I remember when I was growing up in Sullivan County in Upper East Tennessee, my mother canned fruits and vegetables every summer and fall so we would have food during the coming winter and spring. Who knew that those chores that she did simply because she knew they had to do to survive would someday be considered trendy, even in New York City. And those tomatoes she picked from her garden would be considered organic today. I'm not sure she knew them. My mother was not being fashionable. She was just making good, smart, solid decisions for the future of her family. It made sense for a family, and I believe the same philosophy makes sense for a university. You don't jump on the latest trend just because it has come into vogue. You take time to consider an issue, and then you move forward with a sound, well-thought-out plan. Looking back at this campus's history, I I believe this has been the policy of our forefathers, and I intend for it to be our plan going forward. From the beginning, this campus was founded on the idea that education was necessary for the sustainability of a community. In the 1880s, when Chattanooga's banded together to plan for the future of their city, they realized the need for a university. They approached the Methodist Episcopal Church and the Freedmen's Aid Society for support to open a university in Chattanooga. And when the need arose, those same citizens came forward with their own dollars and their own labor to make sure the university did indeed open its doors on September 15, 1886. We tend now to think of sustainability in terms of recycling, organic farming, LEED construction, and renewable energy, and these are important elements of the conversation. But today we also know that sustainability requires social and economic consideration. Since the university's founding in 1886, both the campus and the community have taken steps toward sustainability. We have scholarships and financial aid to ensure a college education is available to all students and not just the wealthy. Because of our heritage as a private school, many think that financial assistance to students is a relatively new practice for this campus. But as far back as 1907, we have records that show that more than 40% of the student body here worked to pay their way to the University of Chattanooga, and many depended on scholarships. Today, this idea of sustainable justice is used to protect against those involved in child labor in third world countries and closer to home. We consider the equity of where factories or jails or waste dumps are located. Why should only the poorest neighborhoods with the least economic clout have the facilities that others think less desirable? For many years on this campus, students led a tradition of planting ivy on these great old buildings, especially around the quadrangle. Students formed a campus beautiful club to take part in the landscaping efforts of the campus. An ivy oration was delivered by a member of the senior class at every commencement. And for years, after the practice of planting ivy was discontinued, students honored outstanding faculty and staff members with the gift of living ivy. In more recent years, our landscaping committee, very ably led by Dr. Linda Collins, has helped us focus attention on the importance of our living environment. The campus that a student experiences on a visit can be just as significant a determining factor in the college choice as academic reputation and financial assistance. In recent years, we have taken steps not only to plant more trees, but to document the plant life that already exists on our campus. Urban trees remove air pollutants, produce oxygen, lower temperature, and enhance the aesthetic value of a community. By cataloging the trees and shrubs on this campus, as we're now doing, and seeking recognition as an urban arboretum, we are stating our commitment to a sustainable green campus and acknowledging sustainability as one of our core values. We have made changes over the past decade to reduce our natural gas and electrical use by 68%. We have reduced water use by 67%. And since 1998, our total savings based on reduced resource demands exceeds $27 million. Last year, I joined 676 other college and university leaders in signing the American College and University President's Climate Commitment. As part of this pledge, our campus agrees to conduct a greenhouse inventory and develop a climate action plan. Our keynote speaker's company has completed our UTC greenhouse gas inventory, which I'm sure he will discuss during his presentation. At the same time our campus has been making these advances, you, our faculty, and our students have been taking steps to establish UTC as an educational and research leader in areas related to sustainability. Our SIM Center helped test a new hydrogen fuel cell that has boundless potential to help address our dependence on coal-generated electricity. Some of you know that the second generation of that fuel cell now sits on top of the EPB power building downtown, heating and cooling a major urban building. The Biological and Environmental Sciences Department has conducted research into the effects of pollution on the aquatic life of our river, the source of life for much of this region. Our School of Nursing is providing health care to the homeless, those disenfranchised members of our community who are most often easily overlooked. When we commit to sustainability, our campus wins, our community wins, our students win. I want to close my remarks with a reading from that early matriculation day, September 15, 1886. These are the words of Dr. Richard Rust, representing the Freedmen's Aid Society. In his address to the new students and faculty at Chattanooga University, Dr. Rust said, "This is called a university. We have named the child ahead. We call it Chattanooga University, not for any individual, but for a young, thriving, enterprising, zealous city. And let us hope that the same zeal and energy that made the city for which it is named will also make this institution a thriving, energetic, and zealous power in the cause of education," unquote. I think you will agree. Our city is still thriving, enterprising, and zealous, and so is our campus. We achieve great accomplishments here every day, and we thank each and every one of you for your contribution.